Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Breann and I make book videos, and today we're going to be talking about all the books I read in January, and then at the end I will talk about some of the books that I hope to get to in February. So I'm so excited to talk about the books that I read in January because I had some serious bangers. Like, some of these were so good. Maybe even a couple of my favorite books, not of all time because that's going to be reserved for A Court of Mist and Fury. We already know that, but some favorites of mine for sure. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Okay, so my first read of 2023 was Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I am so glad I picked this one up. I have a tendency to not pick up books if they're super hyped, and I felt like everybody on the planet was reading this book. So this one is a college romance between a figure skater and a hockey player, and something ends up happening and they have to share a rink. So you kind of see that dynamic play out, and I just love this. I think this was so amazing. I think it's worth all of the hype that it's getting. And oh yeah, I forgot to say that the figure skater, her partner actually ends up getting hurt, and so the hockey player has to step in and kind of help her be her partner. And I loved those scenes. Oh my goodness, that was like some of my favorite scenes in this book. Oh my gosh, the Uber scene, if you guys know, the Uber scene and then the song that it tells you to play, that's my first time I've ever, like, in the book where it's like, oh, this song is playing on the radio or whatever. I played that song while I read that scene, and if you guys have not read it, do that. Or if you've already read it, you're gonna reread or something, play that song while you read the scene. Oh my goodness, it just like took it to another level for me. And I loved Nate Hawkins. That is the male love interest in this book. He was just unlike any other book boyfriend that I've read about. I felt like he was just so nice, so sweet. There was no miscommunication. I love the friendships in this. And then as far as my rating, this was a 5 stars all the way up until the ending. The ending really, I was like, oh, because I was imagining something. Like, I know this is going to be a series, so I was imagining the series to play out one way, and then the ending, I just don't really know. So that knocked it down to a 4.75 for me at the time, but I just think about this book so much. All the time. I always think about the characters. I remember it so vividly, like certain scenes, everything I was feeling while reading it. So I think it's just gonna be a 5 stars. The ending really irked me, but I want to see how the rest of the series pans out, and then that will, I guess, kind of help me make my final decision. But I love it. I will read anything Hannah Grace writes. I'm so excited. Pick this one up if you guys haven't. Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. Then we dipped back into the Shatter Me series. I do have a vlog of me reading the first book, Shatter Me, so I will link that down below, and I'll put like a little card somewhere. I read Fracture Me, which is the novella. I think this is Adam's novella. Okay, I keep all my like thoughts as I'm reading in Notion, and I literally just put it's a novella, so I didn't really have much thoughts on it, so that doesn't really help me. What was this even about? Yeah, I think this is from Adam's perspective. To be completely honest, I barely remember a single thing that happened to this. So that happened in this. So 3 stars. I don't know, it wasn't bad, but wasn't like amazing, obviously, if I can't even remember a single thing about it. Then continuing with the Shatter Me series, I picked up Ignite Me by, well, this is by Tahara Mafi. Maybe I should have said that for the other one, but. So I believe this is the 3rd book in the series. I'm looking at my notes. Okay, what am I gonna say about this? Since this is the 3rd book in the series, it's like pretty much impossible to talk about what happens in this book without spoilers, so I'm just gonna kind of give you my thoughts on it. I loved the friendships that we see in this, specifically between our main character and another character. I'm like, is that a spoiler? I don't remember. Love the friendships. That's like probably my highlight of this. There's a character in here specifically. I adore him. It's not a love interest character, by the way. It's a friend character. And I just love him. Every time he was on the page, I was like eating this up. Love it. I heard some people don't like his character, but I really love his character. We're not gonna say names because I don't want to spoil anything. And then I also really loved seeing the romance that we get in this book. The male character, he is just so down bad for our female main character. It is like, I'm obsessed. I literally love it. I know that's like a highlight of this series. Everyone loves the romance, and I agree. I love it. My only issue with this book was the ending. I felt like we had spent like 3 books and the novellas kind of leading up to something, and then I felt like
everything just concluded. It was like bam, 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 the book is over, basically. I don't know. And then I also, like, I guess this was supposed to be the last book in the series. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm very curious to see, because obviously I have, you can't see them, but I have the rest of the series up there. So obviously this isn't the last book, but I think when it was written, it was meant to be the last book. So I don't know. I'm very curious to see where the story goes. I love the characters in this, so I'm excited about that. And yeah, I gave this 4.25 stars. I liked it. I think this is everyone's favorite in the series, but controversial opinion, I think Destroy Me, yeah, the novella that we get from Warner's perspective, that might have been my favorite thing out of this whole series. I know that there's probably not a single person that agrees with me on that, but I loved it reading from his perspective. Yeah, I was tempted to give that one 5 stars, honestly. Everything I read this month was just so good, honestly. Then the next book I picked up was One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins. We're gonna do this again. Taylor Jenkins Reid. I like struggle to say her name every single time. This was on my list of must-reads for the year. This is a 5 stars. I loved it. I don't even know what to say. I was so invested in these characters. Basically, if you don't know what this is about, I feel like most people do, but we have our main character, Emma, and her husband goes missing in a plane crash. She's presumed to be dead. She moves on. She's engaged, I believe. Yes. She's engaged to a guy that she knew in high school, and then she gets a phone call saying that her husband is coming back to her. This took me on a roller coaster of emotions. I felt like I was being pulled in one direction the whole time. Like, I kind of knew what I wanted for our main character, but then seeing her kind of be conflicted and not sure what she wanted to do, I also felt that confliction a little bit. Like, I saw where she was coming from. I loved it. 5 stars. So, so, so good. If you guys haven't picked this one up, run and read it. It was so good. And then my last read of the month, Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. If you guys don't know, which you probably don't, I don't think I've ever talked about this on my channel, but The Love Hypothesis is one of my favorite books of all time. I read it in the fall of 2021. It was like one of my first books after I got into book talk, or the way I just had that accent, when I got into BookTube. So of course, when I saw that this book was coming out, I was so, so, so excited. So what is this one about? All of Ali Hazelwood's books are like STEMinist, like women in STEM vibes. We have our main character B, and then her like academic rival enemy type of deal, Levi, and it's a romance between them. She gets a job at, I believe it's NASA. Yeah, I know it's that. Why am I saying I believe it's NASA? I know it is. And then they have to work on a project together. I love this one. What is so interesting is I was in a reading slump when I started reading this. My semester started for college, so that's always something I go through where like I'm overwhelmed by school and I just neglect reading. But despite being in a reading slump, I thought that this would like have a bad rating for me, and I still give it 4.25. I loved it. I adore Ali Hazelwood's writing. I was literally laughing out loud. I never like, well, not never. I do laugh out loud when I read, but I was like laughing so much throughout this book. It's so fun. The banter is top tier, genuinely like some of the best banter in my opinion. It did take me a bit to feel the chemistry between our two main characters, but about I think halfway into the book, I really loved it. The spice is good. I just love it. Genuinely, like, Ali Hazelwood might have some of my favorite writing of all time. It is so, so, so enjoyable to read. Those are the 5 books that I read this month. I was really sad because I was fully prepared to have like 10 to 12 books to talk about in this video, and then like I said, I got in a reading slump. So I still think 5 books is great, and let me know if you guys read any of these, what your ratings are on them. I'm very curious to know. And then now we're gonna jump into the few books that I hope to read in February. I've only got 4 books on this list. I just want to be realistic, especially like I said, I'm in my final semester of grad school, so I don't want to sit here and say, oh yeah, I'm gonna read like 12 books when I've literally never done that ever. The first book I'm actually reading, I'm reading on my Kindle, is of course The Final Offer by Lauren Asher. I think everybody is reading this month, or probably read it on the 31st when it came out. But that is the first book that I hope to get to, or well, I am getting to it because I'm reading it. I think about like 25% in. So that is the 3rd book in the Dreamland Billionaire series. I'm loving it so far. I don't want to give my thoughts just yet, but it's giving like small town energy, and it's on Kindle Unlimited. I always like to point out books on Kindle Unlimited because I feel like that's a really great way to get access to books without paying for them. Right, you pay for it, but without having to like buy each book. And then I really want to read You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hogel. I've had this on my shelf for so long, it's embarrassing. We had a quick intermission, and this might be difficult to continue because there's a cat in my backyard, so my dog is feeling some type of way about that. Okay, she's gonna make an appearance. I'm gonna say hi. Look at you, so cute. Look at the camera. Okay, she's on edge. I wanted to get to this one. What is this about? It is about a couple. They are set to get married, and then they realize that they don't really want to be with each other anymore. They don't want to be the one to call off the wedding because then they'd have to pay for it. Marriage in Trouble is one of my favorite tropes of all time, if not my favorite. I love seeing, I don't know, I guess couples struggling and then kind of having to work through that and overcome those struggles. Yeah, I think it's the part of me that loves drama, so Marriage in Trouble, that feels like drama to me. We'll see if I do a February wrap up. If not, you guys will know that I didn't read any of these books. Then I want to pick up Magnolia Parks. I really want to do a reading vlog on this one because I feel like so many people have read this and I just want to be a part of that. So this is between Magnolia and BJ. It's a toxic relationship. I've heard that it gives Gossip Girl energy. I feel like there's just no way you haven't heard about this. Everybody's been talking about this, but if you haven't, Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. And if I'm not mistaken, I think this might be on Kindle Unlimited right now. Let me check. They are on Kindle Unlimited, or at least this first one is. I don't know about the rest of the series. So if you guys have been waiting to get your hands on it, there you go. Go download it. And then the last book that I like to pick up, this one's kind of random, honestly, but I've been in a romance mood right now, but I really, you know, I'm a fantasy girly. I love some fantasy. So the final book that I want to get to is Shadow and Bone. This is the first book in the Shadow and Bone trilogy. I have the second one and I'm hoping that I like it. I hear not amazing things about this book, but I'm not someone to be swayed away from bad reviews. I feel like a lot of the times, honestly, people say they don't like a book and then I'm like, oh no, I liked it. I had fun. What is this about? I have literally no idea. I'm just gonna read the back of this. You probably already know what this is about, but I've heard people talk about this, but I actually don't know what the book is about. So it says, orphaned and expendable, Alina Starkov is a soldier who knows she may not survive her first trek across the Shadowfold, a swath of unnatural darkness crawling with monsters. But when her regiment is attacked, Alina unleashes dormant magic not even she knew she possessed. Now Alina will enter a lavish world of royalty and intrigue as she trains with the Grisha, her country's magical military elite, and falls under the spell of their notorious leader, the Darkling. He believes Alina can summon a force capable of destroying the Shadowfold and reuniting their war-ravaged country, but only if she can master her untamed gift. As the threat to the kingdom mounts and Alina unlocks the secrets of her past, she will make a dangerous discovery that could threaten all she loves and the very future of a nation. Okay, actually, why does that sound really interesting? Maybe am I gonna pick this one up next? I don't know. I'm still loving romance, but I wonder, does this have romance in it? Truly, like, romance and fantasy is just so, oh my god, it's amazing. I don't know what it is about romance and fantasy, but it's so good. So I'm hoping that there's some romance in this, but I have no idea. Pretty much I want to read this because I'm dying to get to Six of Crows, and I know that there's like a show. I think, is the show Shadow and Bone and then there's Six of Crows stuff in there? I think so. Pretty much I want to get through this series so that I can watch the TV show. Okay guys, so that's gonna be it for today's video. Please comment down below what you guys are gonna be reading in February or your favorite book from January. I really want to know, but yeah, that's gonna be all. Also, I will link my Bookstagram and I guess my personal Instagram down below if you guys want to follow that. And be sure to subscribe if you guys want more book content. But thank you so much for watching. Please do not forget to comment, like, subscribe, and all that stuff. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one.